I'm about to talk to you about pets, okay? So let's just say you're at a school. Let's just say you're living with somebody and you want to have a pet. You realize that dogs shed hair. You realize that there's furry animals that shed hair. So you want to get a reptile, right? There's also like leopard geckos, there's crested geckos. There's all kinds of different kinds of geckos. There's like you have to focus on the environment, like what do you want to have, and also to take care of it, to clean up after it, and what would be easier, right? Some people have ideas, but it's not the best ideas. They'll say like it's some big gigantic warning that you have to. But sometimes doing it your own way when you know 100% that it ages very well is sometimes better for that. Now, some people talk to you like they know exactly what they're saying, only to end up with maybe your animal or reptile might be in really bad conditions, or they really have some serious problems. Now, not everywhere knows exactly how to, take care of their pets. Me, and crested geckos. Crested geckos are really nice, but I don't want to take care of them. Leopard geckos are pretty nice. Leopard geckos, they're very curious, as far as I know. Far as I've seen, I only have one, so I don't have like a couple. But they're very curious. If you're gonna prepare its meal, try to not show it in its face. You'll know why if you do. Like as in like cut the meal. Yeah. And here's another part. You like if you like spoiling your animals and reptiles, then you want to be smart about it. Like I have an example. Like I make some things for my reptile. You can make things for your reptile, but you have to make sure everything goes perfectly well. Tarantulas, on the other hand, I learned a couple new things about tarantulas. And here's the thing about having pets: you don't want to be a slave to constantly go into the store. So there's other options like colonies. It's when you get like some insects, like for an example, discoids. You get some discoids and you raise them, and they grow up really, really big, and they have lots and lots of babies, and that's live feeders, right? Some people have a cricket colony, like they take care of crickets until they multiply. Now that is what you're gonna need if you have a reptile, and you have your different kinds of options. Some people tell you something else. Some people tell you that it ages very well. Um, not to always lean on some other people's understanding because, well, to me it doesn't make sense because I looked at some of the things that they were talking about and it didn't make that much sense. Like superworms. Superworms are fine. They're fine. Okay? They're fine. They go good on a lot, but I still recommend some discoids. Some reptiles can drop their tails. And here's the thing, when you have an aggressive bearded dragon, you should have a glove that has some rubber on it. Like something that you could use for motorcycles. Get something that has a lot of protection for your fingers. Because when they bite, they bite. And you can raise them to be friendly, but you just have to chill with them a lot. And there's pets out there that'll bite you, and there's pets that are just not gonna bite you that hard. There's pets that are gonna get along with you and never even bite you. Like for an example, my rabbit. My rabbit doesn't bite me, and if it bites me, then it is the lightest bite. I know 100% it doesn't want to hurt me. 100%. So that does exist where animals or reptiles might end up developing a friendship with you and wouldn't want to ever hurt you. And if it was, it would be a big time accident and they would probably regret it. Probably. Um, Reptiles, to discipline them, you want to discipline a reptile. No, don't do that. Don't discipline a reptile. Just have them get used to your presence. Hang on to them, and if they bite you, if they give you an attitude, stick with them. Hang around with them. That's what I've learned. I had a aggressive. I haven't. I had okay, and it's still a little aggressive, but it's nothing. So I have this bearded dragon. It would get aggressive with me, and I would have this glove, and I would constantly hang on to it, and it would chill. It would chill. It wouldn't go anywhere. It seemed like it just loved it. But of course, it'd get upset a little bit, but it would wear out. It'd end up being happy again. So I thought I could never be friends with a reptile that is aggressive, but I proved that completely wrong. They can be very friendly. It just depends how big it is and how big it can, how hard it can bite. It just depends. But you have to find ways to deal with it. But if it bites and you don't know what to do with it, then I don't know what to tell you there. But yeah, you want to handle it the very best you can. Probably develop a new friendship with it. So there's foods out there, but like there's foods for bearded dragons, but I like live stuff too. If you I'm gonna say, if I have, my bearded dragon right here, right? Get some food for it. I try not to because live food seems like it's going pretty well. Um, yeah, and leopard geckos, they seem like they sometimes can get potty trained, like they could just use the bathroom in one area. It's pretty cool. Tarantulas, on the other hand, a lot of people could be scared of them, but they're actually, now that I've realized and spent time with them every now and then, I start to realize that tarantulas, they're really, really cool. They got all different kinds of colors of tarantulas, but it just, you want to do your research. They seem really nice. They can get really skittish, but nothing that you can't handle. Well, I don't know you, but if you handled, I mean, if you dealt with skittish animals and reptiles, the skittish, you'll start to get used to it, and it's really ends up turning into nothing really, and then you get the job done, whatever you want to do, transport tarantulas, even if you have a fear, you want to be smart with it. That's the thing. So there's different things that people do, and people will even warn you, but some of the things that I've done seems to age pretty well. They seem like they're having fun. So reptiles, right? The scorpions, I don't know much about scorpions, but it's all up to you. And fishes, they're kind of hard to deal with. Be careful what kind of fish you get, because if you end up having a feeder, they're gonna grow up to be big. I mean big. It just depends what kind of filter you use. Now, aquarium turtles, let me tell you something about aquarium turtles. So, aquarium turtles, let's talk about it. There's these filters, right? And then after a while, you'll need a water clarifier. Now, you could still use those. I'm not the biggest fan in the world with those filters at all, because I don't want my water looking pretty nasty. I know how to take care of it, okay? But I like the one that is like a waterfall. It's like for fishes. This thing will gather a lot, but it's not gonna be like your in water filter. It's gonna gather enough, and the food is gonna go all the way down while the waste goes up. So there's that. And here's the plus side: it keeps your water clear for a long, 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 long time. So that's, and you don't have to use water clarifier. You just have to clean up your filter, put it in, wait for a day or half, or wait for 12 hours, and it goes good. Aquarium turtles are pretty cool. Their filters can be expensive, like $23 for a big pack. And you want to clean up, you want to clean it up, reuse it, clean it up, reuse it until it gets worn, and then put in a new one, because you'll still have more in the pack. Now, do aquarium turtles eat discoids? I don't think so at all. I tried it. Let me tell you, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. Okay. Superworms can go pretty good. You can feed them superworms if you like, but I will say this: discoids will climb through the wire of the heater. It'll come right out, and you don't want them walking around in your house. I mean, so that's what I've learned. Aquarium turtles, like yellow bellies, you could feed them super worms. Far as I've seen, and there's turtles that live in the wild, and yeah, I mean they can go pretty good. Tarantulas are pretty cool. There's even dwarf tarantulas, like really cool looking dwarf tarantulas. There's even jumping spiders, different colors. So you want to do your research on all that. What do you want to have? If you want to have something that you could just let it walk around and all that and carry with you, it just depends what kind of person you are. If you're the type of person that likes to carry a dog around, like not like carry a dog, but have a dog clean up every now and then. Or if you're a distant person like me, who likes to clean up the enclosure and wouldn't have to worry about torn up stuff, then yeah, then get yourself, a reptile or an animal that can stay in the cage until you pull it out to just roam around. Dogs are really nice too. They're really cool. So do your research when you get a dog. I know some of you get so excited about getting a dog, but do your research seriously, because there's some decisions that you might do. It's really, really not something you should ever be doing to do that certain dog. Like some dogs out there aren't outdoor dogs. I mean, far that I realized. I mean, some of them might, but yeah. So do your research about your the dogs and all that, and yeah, pretty much. And colonies are pretty nice. There's some people who use I forgot what this thing called, isopods, right? Clean up their enclosure, bio whatever it's called, enclosure. Some people have like different kinds of, even dart frogs. People have like frogs too, and they seem to enjoy it. But I will say this: do your research about how big they get. Do your research on what environment they have, and see what ages very well with them. So definitely your bearded dragons are going to need calcium, so you're going to have to buy calcium powder for your leopard gecko, your bearded dragon. Um, I'm not a big, gigantic fan of taking care of crested geckos. They are really, really nice if you know how to take care of them. Good job. That's really, really cool. Now, bearded dragons, people have their setups really different, let me tell you. So let's just say you were to tell me you want to get a bearded dragon. So you can make the setup really, really different, really unique. You can do whatever you'd like, but make sure it's safe, for them. You can get a piece of metal, bend it, make like a little bed for it. Really, really cool, right? But make sure everything is safe. Make sure they don't get cut, nothing like that. So having pets can be really, really cool. Developing a friendship. You can have like a what's it called? Chameleon, right? You can let them walk around. It's really cool. They change colors. Something slow. Bearded dragons, to me, my bearded dragon goes nowhere when I put it on the ground. And even if it was to run, it's funny. But just have to get it used to just chilling. So, with tarantulas, you might want to use a small water bowl and, yeah, take good care of it. Some people have, let's just say there's a man that I've seen on YouTube. He's been feeding his tarantula crickets, and he recommends no. And so do I. I don't recommend crickets. I mean, they can if you want, but I like discoids the most. Discoids are great. They're great. And you want to make sure you clean up and all that. And with discoids, you want to keep a close eye with your roaches, because you don't want that discoid just hanging around, and it eats it halfway, and then next it starts to. So you want to keep everything clean, right? And enclosure size, they can be expensive. Let me tell you the best advice. Best advice. Go on a Facebook Market, meet somewhere with someone for a little enclosure for cheap. Because some of those enclosures at stores, let me tell you, it is a complete abomination of how high those prices are. When you can get a container that's bigger and you can create the holes on it, let me tell you. Some of those stores out there are over. To me, they are overcharging. Pretty high for an enclosure like that. 25 for a little cricket enclosure. Ooh, yeah, no thanks. I'd rather just get a container and make holes on it. So yeah. Oh yeah, you want to be careful with that too, because some spiders can free themselves. So you want to make sure it's good quality, and not like the water bottle thin quality. Just some good quality. All right. So yeah, and if you're gonna raise crickets or discoids, do it in like a big tub. Big tub, like a toy box. Toy box, okay? Clear toy box. And they can do well in the heat. They can do well in just the warm. Try not to have them be too cold. You know, keep them in your house. They're not gonna escape. They're fine. Discoids are good for leopard geckos, tarantulas, and bearded dragons, and you don't have to constantly go to the store so much. Discoid roaches. They are kind of like rolling. No, no, no. They are kind of like isopods. That's the way I see it. They're really cool. Like they're really cool when they get small, but when they get big, they just get big. They're chill. When they get big, I don't feed it. I don't like feeding it to tarantulas because when they get big, it's like they're only good for breeding. Now the small ones and the medium ones are the only ones that I want to feed to reptiles and tarantulas. But when they get too big, yeah, that's just for breeding. That's it. That's just how I keep it. And I also have these lids. Like if you get soda lids or water bottle lids, put F for feeding and M for molting. And whenever you can even put the date on it too, like when you fed it. Yeah. And also, if you're gonna have pets, go on your phone and there is a alarm, and set it up on a certain day so you feed your pets. Make sure it's on a like at a perfect time so it doesn't bother you through the day and you accidentally um, snoozed it and completely forgot about it. So make sure it's at a nighttime, perfect time. Make sure it's everything's all perfect, and you want to make sure there's water for your tarantulas every single time. I've seen people take care of their tarantulas with a little bit of water or no water at all for a while, and that's not good. Not good at all, and that's probably what caused the death of some of their animals. So remember, top quality. You want to make sure the best quality ever when it comes to water. Like you want to make sure it's good water. You want to always feed them, um, and make sure they are not um, very thirsty or starving, and make sure they're in perfect size. It's beautiful. So yeah, tarantulas like to dig, but here's the thing I learned is that you know what, I'm gonna make this for another video, but I can say it on here since you're watching it. You can make your tarantula hang out on the surface. You just have to constantly remind it, like not like remind it, but like pat it down, make everything go straight. And I see that that works out fine for me. Um, Definitely want to have some moss into that. That goes great. And for that thing to dry out, it's fine. They'll go under that. It's fine, and then they'll come out. So moss is definitely a nice help. So there's that. Water bowls. Sometimes it can go so expensive. Let me tell you the best advice right here. You need to listen to me, alright? If you have some tarantulas, hey, go to the thrift store, get yourself one of those candle looking things at Circle. It's like Circle and small. And buy some of them for like 75 cents or 50 cents or $1. And buy a couple or 25 cents a piece. If that thing is starting to go a little bit more antique, then you might as well use that for your spiders. So you'll be saving a lot of money. And there you go. Big size, save money. Everything all good.